Dr. Alara Miles stood in the shadowed alcove of the Galactic Council's vast chamber, her gaze fixed on the motley array of alien diplomats gathered from across the universe. Each delegate represented a cog in the vast machine of the Galactic Federation, a machine that had, until now, underestimated the cog labeled humanity. As the Thrillix ambassador, a towering figure with chitinous armor and flickering eyes, took the stage, a murmur ran through the assembly. His voice, a guttural symphony of clicks and roars, was translated into a calm, menacing galactic standard by the translators embedded in each seat. Esteemed members of the council, he began, his mandibles clashing subtly, it is time we address the growing instability threatening our borders. We propose a coalition to bring these rogue planets to heel, under the guiding hand of the Thrillix, of course. Alara's hand tightened around the small device hidden in her pocket. It was a simple thing, barely larger than a data chip, but it was the key to unveiling humanity's true capabilities. Beside her, her aide and confidant, Joran, a slender man with sharp features and sharper intellect, leaned closer. "Do you think they suspect anything?" he whispered. "No," Alara replied, her voice low and steady. "They believe us too fragmented, too naive. Today, we show them how wrong they are." As the Thrillix ambassador spoke of unity and protection, words that thinly veiled threats of conquest and control, Alara stepped forward. The chamber fell silent as she approached the central dais, the spotlight subtly shifting to illuminate her path. "With respect, Ambassador," Alara's voice rang clear and authoritative through the hall, "Earth appreciates your concern. However, we prefer to speak for ourselves." The Thrillix turned towards her, his eyes narrowing. "Dr. Miles, isn't it? Earth's delegate to the Energy Commission. What can your backward planet possibly contribute to this discussion?" The whisper of laughter that circled the room was quickly stifled by Alara's next move. She lifted the device, pressing a series of commands. The massive screens around the chamber flickered to life, showing a live feed of a Thrillix warship orbiting a defenseless planet. "Observe," she commanded. The ship, bristling with weapons, suddenly shuddered. Its lights blinked out, one by one, as if devoured by an unseen force. Then, with a grace that belied its massive size, it began to drift aimlessly, its engines dead, its weapons silent. "This," Alara said, turning to face the assembly, her voice imbued with uncharacteristic ferocity, "is human technology. Developed in secret, capable of neutralizing your strongest ships without a single shot fired." A collective gasp echoed through the chamber. The Thrillix ambassador's exoskeleton clattered in barely concealed anger. "How dare you!" he roared. "This is an act of aggression." On the contrary, Alara countered smoothly, "Consider it a demonstration of Earth's commitment to peace. We prefer to disable rather than destroy. But make no mistake, Ambassador, we will defend ourselves." Joran watched, a small smile playing on his lips, as the delegates buzzed with renewed interest and whispered speculation. Alara continued, her voice now calm, persuasive. "We propose an alternative to the Thrillix plan. Instead of subjugation, let us work towards genuine unity. Earth will share its technology, but only within a coalition based on mutual respect and cooperation." The Murinth delegate, a fluid, shape-shifting entity, rose from its seat. "Earth speaks of peace yet wields power capable of crippling our mightiest ships. Perhaps it is time we reconsider who we underestimate." Nods of agreement came from various corners of the room, from beings whose worlds had also felt the heavy hand of Thrillix diplomacy. The Thrillix ambassador, now visibly isolated, clicked his mandibles in frustration. Alara seized the moment, her gaze sweeping across the representatives of hundreds of worlds. "We have played our part in this galaxy's theater long enough," she declared. "No more will Earth pretend to be less than what it is. No more will we hide our strength. It's time for transparency, for real peace. Join us in forging a new path, one where no world bears another's yoke." The chamber erupted in applause, a sound Alara had never thought she'd hear directed at a human in this hall. As she stepped down from the dais, Joran met her at the bottom of the steps. "Well played, Alara," he said, his eyes shining with pride and something else, hope, perhaps. Elara nodded, allowing herself a moment to soak in the success. The first move is made, she said. Now the real work begins. Together, they walked back to their delegation's seat, not as the Earth's humble representatives, but as leaders of a new coalition that would, with any luck, reshape the galaxy. Elara Miles returned to her quarters on the Galactic Federation's main space station with the echoes of the council chamber's applause still ringing in her ears. The walls were adorned with the flags of countless civilizations, a reminder of the Federation's supposed unity. Tonight, however, those flags seemed to flutter not in harmony, but in anticipation of a new order, one where Earth played a pivotal role. As she settled into her chair, Joran handed her a steaming cup of herbal brew, a small comfort amidst the storm they were about to unleash. "The Thrillix won't take this lying down," he remarked, his brow furrowed in concern. "No, they won't," Elara agreed, sipping the bitter liquid. "They'll retaliate, or worse, they'll try to undermine our position in the Council. And what about our allies? Do you think they'll stand with us when the pressure mounts?" Joran asked, glancing at the live feeds on the screen, which showed various fleets maneuvering across the galaxy, a chessboard with stars as squares. "They have to," Elara said, setting her cup down. "We've shown them an alternative to fear and subjugation. Now, we need to consolidate our position, and fast." She activated the comm device, its screen flickering to life, revealing the faces of delegates from the planets most oppressed by the Thrillix. "Thank you for joining me," Elara began, her voice steady. "Today, we took the first step toward a truly balanced federation. But the journey is far from over. We need to formalize our alliance and strategize our defense." The delegates nodded, their expressions a mix of admiration and apprehension. One by one, they pledged their support, not just in words, but with commitments of ships, resources, and, most crucially, intelligence on Thrillix movements. "Let's talk strategy," Elara shifted the discussion, pulling up tactical displays. "We need to protect our worlds and keep the Thrillix at bay. Our human tech team has developed something new, an energy disruptor capable of disabling Thrillix weaponry without causing permanent damage. It's time we deploy these on a larger scale." Joran, ever the tactician, chimed in. "We can set up a series of these disruptors around key planets. Think of them as a deterrent, a way to buy us time to strengthen our fleets and our resolve." The meeting stretched on, with plans being forged and alliances strengthened. When the delegates signed off, Elara and Joran looked at each other, a sense of accomplishment mingling with the weight of responsibility. The next few days were a blur of activity. Earth's ships, once hidden, now took prominent positions at strategic points across the Federation space. The disruptors were deployed, forming a protective shield around vulnerable planets. But as Elara had predicted, the Thrillix were not idle. Reports came in of a buildup of their forces near the sector known as the Nebular Gate, a critical passage point in one of the Federation's most vulnerable areas. "It's a show of force," Joran analyzed, looking over the data with Elara. "They want to see if we'll flinch." "Then let's not give them the satisfaction," Elara decided. "Prepare the fleet. It's time to show the Thrillix that we're not just defenders, we're contenders." The fleet moved out, a mix of human ships and those of their new allies, each crew ready to defend their right to freedom. Elara stood on the bridge of the flagship, watching as stars streaked past. When they arrived at the Nebular Gate, the Thrillix fleet loomed, a dark mass against the cosmos. Communications were tense. The Thrillix commander demanded their withdrawal. "You are outmatched," he claimed, his voice a cold hiss over the comm. "Perhaps," Elara responded, calm and unyielding. "But we're not alone. And we're not backing down. Are you willing to risk everything on a fight you may not win?" There was a long pause, the silence stretching thin. Then, unexpectedly, the Thrillix fleet began to pull back, retreating into the shadows from which they had emerged. Cheers broke out among the crew, but Elara remained focused. "This is just the beginning," she told her team. "They're testing us, seeing how far we'll go. We must be ready to push even further." In the weeks that followed, the new alliance grew stronger. Ships from different worlds patrolled in unity, a symbol of the change Alara had ignited. But Earth, under her guidance, continued to innovate, pushing the boundaries of technology and strategy. Joran approached her one evening as she looked out at the vast expanse of space from her office. "You've changed the galaxy, Alara. What will you do when peace finally comes?" Alara smiled, her eyes reflecting the stars. "Build a better universe," she said simply. "One where no one has to pretend to be less than they are." As Earth's ships glided through space, their presence a testament to human ingenuity and resolve, Alara Miles knew the road ahead was long and fraught with challenges. But humanity had stepped out from the shadows, and they were ready to light up the galaxy with their true power. Alara Miles had hardly slept since the standoff at the nebular gate, and the weight of leadership pressed heavily on her. Earth and its allies had secured a fragile peace, but it was a peace constantly under threat. Reports of Thrilix's covert operations had started to filter in, each more troubling than the last. Sitting in her office, surrounded by stacks of data pads and intelligence reports, Alara reviewed the latest, a suspected sabotage plot targeting Earth's quantum energy facilities. The Thrilix were getting desperate, willing to strike at the heart of human power to undermine their new position in the galaxy. Joran entered, his face somber. "We've confirmed the intel," he said. "Thrilix agents have infiltrated the sector. They're planning to disable our main quantum reactor." Alara's response was swift and decisive. "Evacuate the facility. I want a security detail on every quantum reactor we have. This ends now." As the plans were set in motion, Alara contacted the leaders of the Allied worlds, her image flickering to life in their command centers. "The Thrilix are attempting to sabotage our energy infrastructure," she explained. "I need your support to fortify our defenses and root out any spies." The response was immediate and unified. Promises of additional ships, intelligence, and security personnel flooded in, solidifying the coalition that Alara had worked so tirelessly to build. But with the Thrilix pushing back so fiercely, internal dissent began to surface. Within the Federation, voices of caution urged Alara to negotiate, to avoid further conflict. Even on Earth, some argued that showing too much strength might backfire, drawing them into a war they couldn't win. Amidst this turmoil, Alara held a closed meeting with her top advisors in a secure room aboard the Federation's flagship. The walls were lined with the latest security tech, but it was the trust within the room that made it truly secure. "We have two choices," Alara began, her voice resolute. "We can bend to the Thrilix, show them that their tactics are working, or we can stand firm, protect our resources, and continue to demonstrate our strength." The debate that followed was heated. Joran, ever the strategist, argued for a show of force. "We need to send a clear message. Any attack on one of us is an attack on all of us." But Kara, her chief diplomat, cautioned restraint. "A hard line might push the Thrilix to something even more drastic. We could be sparking a full-scale war." As they argued, Alara considered each point carefully. The weight of every decision, the potential lives impacted, weighed on her. Finally, she made her choice. "We will fortify our defenses, but we won't provoke them further," she declared. "Prepare our forces defensively, but reach out to the Thrilix. Offer them one last chance for peace." The decision was met with mixed reactions, but the orders went out. Earth's forces, along with their allies, prepared for the worst while hoping for the best. Days turned into tense weeks. Earth's quantum reactors were now fortresses, bristling with both human and alien technology. The Thrilix, finding no easy targets, hesitated, their movements becoming less aggressive. It was during this lull that the Thrilix commander requested a meeting. Under the watchful eyes of both fleets, a Thrilix shuttle docked with the Federation flagship. The commander, his exoskeleton gleaming under the artificial lights, met Alara in the neutral ground of the conference room. "You have made your point, Dr. Miles," the Thrilix commander began, his voice grudgingly respectful. "Your Federation is stronger than we anticipated. What is it that you propose?" Alara stood firm, her resolve clear. "A true armistice," she offered. "No more sabotage, no more threats. We offer knowledge and aid in exchange for peace. You have seen what we are capable of, imagine what we can achieve together. The commander was silent for a long moment, his compound eyes reflecting a complex mix of emotions. Finally, he nodded. I will take your proposal to my superiors. As the Thrillix departed, Elara allowed herself a moment of cautious optimism. The galaxy was on the brink of a new era, one that could herald an age of unprecedented cooperation or descend back into chaos. In the quiet of her office, Elara looked out at the stars, each one a silent witness to the unfolding drama of the galaxy. She knew the path ahead would be fraught with challenges, but she also knew that Earth and its allies were ready. Ready to defend their peace, ready to forge a new future, and, most importantly, ready to no longer hide in the shadows. Their true power had been revealed, not just in strength, but in the ability to unite a galaxy. Elara Miles stood before the Galactic Council once more, her presence now commanding an entirely different level of respect. The hall buzzed with the murmurs of countless delegates, all awaiting the outcome of the recent negotiations with the Thrillix. At her side, Joran and Kara provided silent support, their faces reflecting the gravity of the moment. The negotiations with the Thrillix have concluded, Elara began, her voice echoing in the chamber. We have reached an armistice that ensures peace and mutual respect among our civilizations. This agreement marks a new beginning for the Galactic Federation, one based on true equality and shared prosperity. Murmurs turned into nods of approval from many, but skeptical glances from others. The Thrillix delegation, notably less aggressive than before, remained silent, their expressions unreadable behind their insectoid features. Elara continued, this peace is not just a cessation of hostilities. It is an opportunity. We invite the Thrillix and all other members of the Federation to join us in a new initiative, the Galactic Cooperation Project. This will not only secure our borders but also allow us to share knowledge and resources freely among all member planets. The proposal was bold, and Elara knew it. Across the hall, faces showed a mix of curiosity and doubt. The Thrillix commander stood up, his voice cutting through the chatter. The Thrillix accept this proposal. We recognize the strength and spirit of humanity and its allies. We are prepared to contribute and learn in this new coalition. A collective breath seemed to be released throughout the chamber. Elara's proposal was a gamble, but it was paying off. The Galactic Cooperation Project was approved, and detailed discussions began to outline how resources, technology, and knowledge would be shared among the Federation's worlds. As the council session adjourned, Elara, Joran, and Kara walked through the corridors of the council station, their steps lighter than they had been in months. You did it, Elara, Kara said, a smile spreading across her face. You've not only secured peace but have laid the groundwork for a true federation. Elara nodded, feeling the weight of her responsibility ease slightly. We did it together. This peace will be our legacy. But the real work starts now. We have to ensure that this agreement holds and that it becomes the foundation for a lasting change. Over the next few weeks, Elara worked tirelessly. Meetings with various planetary representatives became her daily routine. Each meeting was an opportunity to cement the new alliances and to plan the future. Resources from Earth and its allied planets were pooled to create a central fund, supporting weaker planets that had suffered under previous conflicts. The project quickly began to show results. Educational exchanges were set up, allowing students from different worlds to learn from each other. Joint research projects were launched, focusing on everything from agricultural development to advanced energy technologies. But it wasn't just about technology and resources. Cultural exchanges became a cornerstone of the project. Festivals, art, and history were shared, allowing each species to appreciate the other's uniqueness. This cultural sharing helped to break down barriers of mistrust and prejudice, slowly weaving a tapestry of understanding and respect across the Federation. As these initiatives took root, Elara watched as former enemies became partners in building a better future. The Galactic Council, once a place of division and conflict, became a forum of vibrant debate and cooperative decision-making. Months later, at the anniversary of the armistice, Elara addressed the Council again. 1 year ago, we stood at the brink of a potentially devastating conflict. Today, we celebrate not just the absence of war, but the presence of a growing unity among us. Our joint projects have not only improved our economies but have enriched our cultures and strengthened our bonds. The applause that filled the chamber was warm and genuine. Illyra felt a sense of accomplishment, knowing that while the path ahead would still present challenges, the foundation they had built was strong. As the celebrations continued, Jorn leaned over to Illyra. "You've changed the galaxy, Illyra. What's next for you?" Illyra smiled, looking out at the stars visible through the chamber's vast windows. "We keep building, keep strengthening these bonds. Peace is a constant effort, not a line we cross. And as for me, as long as I'm needed, here is where I'll be." Illyra Miles had not just led her people into a new era of power, she had guided an entire galaxy towards a brighter future. The task was immense, but as she stood there, surrounded by friends and former foes, she knew that they were on the right path. Together, they were building something that could endure, a peace truly worthy of the galaxy.